Greater Manchester Police are once again under fire, this time for upsetting campaign leaders over their street gang letter that they sent out to people last week with regards to the upcoming Caribbean Carnival due to take place on the 14th and 15th of August. Greater Manchester Police has said to have sent around 50 letters to people, banning them from attending the event, saying that organisers have stated that no person who is either a member of a street gang, affiliated to a street gang, perceived by others to be associated to a street gang, and or suspected to be involved in criminal activity will be allowed entry. Now, on the face of it, protecting a family event from potential crime or violence isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's believed that these letters were mainly sent to young black teenagers. Of course, we all know that crime and violence is committed by all races, but it is of course impossible to say for sure if the letters had been sent to mainly black teenagers, although it's a Caribbean Carnival which would likely attract the black community more than the white. So although I don't see an issue with telling people they're not welcome if they are actually known to be in a gang, stopping people who are perceived by others to be in a gang or suspected to be in a gang is, in my opinion, a breach of Human Rights Article 7, no punishment without law. Bearing in mind these people who are perceived to be a suspect of being in a gang are being punished without being found guilty of or proven to actually be in a street gang. Article 10, freedom of expression. I think that explains itself. Article 11, freedom of assembly and association. Again, I think that explains itself. And Article 14, which is protection from discrimination. In this context, that means that all of the rights and freedoms set out in the Human Rights Act must be protected and applied without discrimination. I believe that's been breached as well. Now, if you're extremely picky, you could probably find more of the human rights that are being breached, but personally I think these are the main ones in this situation. The Caribbean Carnival is celebrating its 50th year this year and 60 years of Jamaican independence, and is being held in Moss Side, which is said that the community have strong links with the Caribbean and with Africa. The Northern Police Monitoring Project has spoken out against the bans, describing them as an example of racist over-policing. A statement from the group says, "It is with rage that we hear roughly 50 young people in our communities have received letters from GMPs Excalibur Task Force, preventing them from attending this year's Manchester Caribbean Carnival. A gang, something that Greater Manchester Police have no definition for, is a deeply racist construct which finds young people, disproportionately black boys, labelled due to their friendships, interests or cultures. Evidence from groups and organisations such as Amnesty International UK have continued to show that the police, including Greater Manchester Police, label black boys gang members with weak or non-existent evidence, conflate gangs with youth violence and build racist gangs databases, all with the end goal of securing unjust prosecutions. Letters such as these are one of the many tactics at play in assigning the gang label. The journey of Carnival from being a community event to a corporate spectacle will continue to play a significant part in its policing, becoming even more harmful. Our anger sits not only with Greater Manchester Police for this approach, but with the event organisers who are actively complicit, providing legitimacy for the policing of the carnival. Furthermore, the letter states, you will not be permitted entry to the carnival as per the wishes of the organisers and the community. We reject this, knowing many members of our community will not want these letters circulated in their name. We ask members of the community attending Carnival to be aware of this issue and look out for young people, particularly black boys, hoping to attend. The police will be preventing entry of those perceived to be in a street gang, and we know full well that perceptions and the gang label itself are racist. Now again, we all know that gangs can be and indeed are made up of black and white members, and without having the evidence in front of me, I can't say if indeed the letters were sent out mainly to young black teenagers, but in the context of this being a Caribbean event, I can imagine that this is the case, which is indeed wrong, as if they were going to send letters out, it should be to everybody they deem were in or involved with gangs. And I'll tell you for why. Because for me, I need to either know for sure, based on evidence, that something is racist, or beyond doubt that it's racist. And knowing what I know of the police, knowing this is a Caribbean Carnival event aimed at the black community, then to me it's beyond doubt that the police have indeed targeted black community members with this letter of threat. In response, Greater Manchester Police's Chief Superintendent Rob Cousin said that there have been incidents of serious violence at the carnival in previous years, and this strategy of banning people from attending has been used in the past. Well, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it being used on a Pride event, and there's no way we wouldn't have heard about that, knowing what drama queens many of that lot can be. Caribbean Carnival is a long-established and well-attended celebration, they said. Every year, Greater Manchester Police works with partner agencies, including organisers and members of the public, to keep people as safe as possible. In years gone by, there have been a number of incidents of serious violence which have posed a high risk of harm to those in attendance. Caribbean Carnival is a licensed event and therefore subject to conditions of entry, agreed by all relevant parties to prevent and reduce crime, harm and antisocial behaviour. Since 2006, letters which outline these conditions have been sent to individuals about whom we have intelligence to suggest they may threaten the safety of the event. The recipients are wide-ranging in terms of age, gender and ethnic background, and are considered on a case-by-case basis. It is worth noting that this strategy is supported by both Manchester City Council as the licensing authority and the locality's independent advisory group. The independent advisory group is made up of members of the public representing our diverse communities who regularly give feedback to Greater Manchester Police to ensure the force provides an outstanding service whilst serving its fundamental purposes, which over recent times it's failed in both. Now, I'm not sure why the independent advisory group is backing this when what they should be doing is telling the police to do their damn jobs rather than infringing people's rights to partake in the celebrations. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If there were more police on the beat and less chasing people for their social media posts, then there will be less people willing to take the chance of committing a crime due to the much higher likelihood of getting caught or running into a copper. An event such as this would have less people wanting to attend to cause trouble because they know the police would be all over them. But instead of police attending these events to police them, they want to attend to join in and get themselves distracted, just as we see as when you see the Pride videos going up of coppers dancing and prancing around in uniform. A spokesperson for Manchester City Council said the council is committed to working with its partners to ensure the Caribbean Carnival can be a safe and happy celebration of the significant role the Caribbean community has had in the history of Manchester. As a result, Greater Manchester Police and partner agencies have taken targeted steps to ensure this ambition can be realised. This course of action is not new and has taken place since 2006 to ensure a safe carnival celebration for all. This year's carnival, celebrating its 50th anniversary, should be a time to celebrate, and the council is certain that this year's outing will live up to such an important legacy. So if this should be a time to celebrate, then those who wish to celebrate it should be allowed to go. Those who don't shouldn't be forced not to attend, but instead, by proper policing, literally be afraid to go and cause trouble, knowing that they will get caught and dealt with. Again, this comes down to proper policing in all areas of policing, knowing that the police will be there and be distracted, or even be there at the carnival away from other areas of the city. Criminals will use that opportunity to act. The fact is that this kind of thing with the letters is not something that people have made a fuss over before. And with other events going on this week without a murmur of anything like this, I have to say that in this case it does appear that GMP are targeting the black community. I also have to say that in a way it makes sense because it's a black community celebration, but that does not stop white folk from going, and therefore the letters, if they are necessary, which I don't think they are, should be targeted at all those in the area who might want to go, and not just young black teenagers who are perceived by others to be in a gang. It's just bullshit. And when we think about this whole perceived by others situation, it is exactly the same as hate crimes. If you are perceived to be discriminated against, if somebody has a go at you and you perceive that to be based on your race, your gender, your sexuality, your whatever, then that becomes a hate crime. So as far as I'm concerned, if people are perceiving young black folk of being in gangs, then they are committing a hate crime. Just my thought.